Yo, guys, what's up, and welcome back to the Marvelous Chats podcast. This is episode 140. Tonight on the cast is myself, Finto, and Alex, aka Zaberwolf. We're going to be going over the finale of House of the Dragon, and we're going to be going over the announcements from D23 and any other nerdy news in between. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, leave a like on the video, and if you're watching us on a replay, leave us a comment below. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you prefer to listen on the go. Without further ado, here we go. Yo,
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
what's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing all right. How you been?
Good, man. Good. Yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks for me. So I feel like we haven't spoken in weeks on this channel. But yeah, dude, I was just like I was covering a bunch of like annual leave in my office, so like I had to do like a stint of like just on site every single day. So it was just like up an hour earlier in the morning in the car,
Yeah,
sitting in traffic, and it just makes the day so much longer. And trying to stream at night is always a little harder because I'm getting less sleep, so I'm more tired and stuff like that. So it was a rough couple of days, and I even had like I had a Friday, not the Friday, like straight after we did the last podcast. I was off
hmm
that day, and then I had so it was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. So it was like a natural 4-day weekend, and those 4 days of work that I did just gone were it felt like 2 weeks work. Like it was just jam packed.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I was just fucking busy, bro. How are you?
I'm good, good. Had a busy work week myself. Just trying to get through the last bit of a job that like it's been going on since I think like early last quarter.
Right.
But there's no deadline to it, so it's like I mean,
Go on
my
forever.
yeah, and I paired up with the new teammate who like joined in about a few months ago, and we really hit it off, and we're having a good time like in like figuring out how to do this stuff because like it's brand new. Like essentially we have like the something that we've I can't say too much, but I can say like it's something that we've never done before, but something that we're aware of like how to kind of figure out essentially.
Hmm.
Um, and it's really interesting stuff. I love learning new things, so it's like it's so fun like getting to this point. It's be like, I don't know if you've ever had the same thing, Finta, where you're just like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what the, and then you're like, wait, it's this, and then you start doing it, and you're like, bing, fucking bingo, I got it, okay, and then you move on to the next thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's like a kind of like an epiphany you have, and you're kind of just like the ball just starts rolling quick. Yeah, there's
Yep.
nothing better, bro. It's like one of my favorite feelings. That's part of the reason why I work in IT is that feeling is just like overcoming those obstacles, helping people out, like fixing people's problems. Like I love that shit, man. Like that's like what I live for. Like that's why I do the job. Like
Yeah.
there's like a weird kind of satisfaction to kind of figuring out those problems, and or even just like helping somebody like fixing a problem that they're having in their workday, and just being like able to be like, there you go, that's fixed for you, that won't happen again.
Yeah.
That sort of shit. Like I just love that stuff, man. That's what I live for.
Well,
As sad
and
as it sounds.
I'm all for it too. And the funny thing is like in some cases, and a lot of people, might look down on this, but like in the world of programming, um, if you don't Google something, what the fuck are you doing? Like
You can't
seriously,
remember everything, bro. There's no
yeah, you
way.
can't. There's
And
no
like
way.
the second you can learn something and like have it like in the back of your head, and you can just nearly do it like muscle memory. But then if you don't do it for a couple of months, you have to learn it all over again. Like, you know what I mean? Something takes its place. Like I find that all the time. I
Yeah.
get good at doing like one fix, and then it's like, you might not do it for a couple of months time, and then someone's like, oh, here, I've like, I was reading up on your notes, you fixed this in the past, and can you remember what you did? Can you show me what you did? And I'm just like
Mhm.
read the notes as if I'm reading them for the first time. I'm like, oh my god, I wrote this. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? It's like author of the rug book, me, like, and I'm like, fuck, I don't even remember. I was like, I need to read it again nearly myself. Like, so yeah, dude, like it's
Oh.
it's it's a it's a weird job, that's for sure.
It's fun
Um,
though. I really
no, it
enjoy
is.
it.
It is fun. It is fun, and the type of work that I do as well. Like I'm not sitting doing the same thing monotonously over and over again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's going to be something that's going to come across my desk tomorrow when I'm start work that I haven't looked at before. So the
Yeah.
days definitely are kept interesting. That's for sure.
Right.
Um, this could be a long one. It might not be. I don't know. We've got a good bit to go over. We never finished House of the Dragon because we had a break last week, so we got to talk about the finale. Interesting to see what you thought. And we also have D23, which is like Disney's showcase, that aired over the weekend. And there was a
Mhm.
good bit of like Star Wars and Marvel news that we can talk about as well. Any other kind of nerdy news in between will naturally probably go in different directions, but we'll see how it goes. Let's
Yeah.
just I think really we should just do Hot D, get it out of the way, and then we can kind of go into the more kind of relevant stuff, because I kind of feel like Hot D ended like it feels like it ended 2 weeks ago. Did it end 2 weeks ago? I think it might have ended like it literally. We were meant to go
Uh,
live last weekend, but it was on like last Monday, right? So it kind of nearly is a week ago, or is it two
yeah,
weeks ago? I'm
it's
so
about a week
confused now.
ago. It's
Yeah,
about a week
that's
ago.
that kind of tells the week that I've had. It feels like it's been weeks long. So yeah, it feels like a lot longer ago that it ended. But what did you think of the finale?
Honestly, I really enjoyed it. I know
Yeah.
a lot of people had issues with it in
Mm,
terms of like, oh, it didn't end with like a big fight scene. There was nothing, there was like this climactic moment and there was nothing to pay off for everything that was going on. And it's like, dude, have you not heard of like the build-up process? Like this is something that you see in a lot of like um I would say in a lot of animes too, like in terms of like things happening and building up to this grand moment.
mm,
Like I would say in One Piece, like you would have this thing like, oh, Wano this, Wano that, and finally we get to Wano and it's like cool. And then it's a very long process of like getting to that final fight, but it
yeah.
like but it's the payoff is great. A lot of people really enjoyed it. I know Katie really enjoyed it. So like, it felt good to me. I felt like it was a strong way to kind of set up for the next season. But I
Mhm.
also understand like there wasn't necessarily anything that was shocking near the end. And I think a lot of people were thinking like, oh my God, there's going to be something shocking, something. And
Yeah.
I think the shock factor was supposed to be like when Rhaenyra was like a son for a son, but it's like you can't have Alicent coming to Rhaenyra and saying like, "Hey, you can take over and like be the rightful heir," and not have anything to pay back for. Like, there's no like she can't just walk in and then they're going to be like, "Oh, there was
Yeah.
conspiracy between the two."
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. She's like, come on, you know how this works. I have to kill your son. Like, it's like
right,
that's how it goes. Yeah. So
yeah, and it's like it's those moments where like you kind of you think to yourself like, man, like it's such a breath of fresh air for her, but it's also like a prison for Rhaenyra. It's like she knows she has to be the rightful ruler, and maybe Rhaenyra didn't want it, and the ones that don't want it are usually the ones that are great rulers.
yeah.
So like it only makes sense that she should be part of it, especially because she was named the heir. I don't
Mm.
know, I always wondered like how do you fight that like situation just because someone was on their deathbed and they named Aegon, like that doesn't mean that all of a sudden Rhaenyra gets kicked out. That's just I don't know how Allison took that in terms of maybe it's because of the drive for her line to essentially become like the powerful rulers, which I never thought that was like apparent from her, but I just knew that she liked Viserys.
I think like the whole time you're watching the first season of the show, and pretty much for the entire season, everybody's looking at Viserys kind of like he's a madman, because it's like, hang on, you're naming a woman as the heir. It's like, this is blasphemy. It's outrageous. You can't do this,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. So everyone's kind of like, this guy's fucking crazy. But then throughout his entire life, he's always backed it up like, no, yep, she's the queen. She will be the queen when I'm gone. And everyone's
Hmm.
always like, you have a son now, bro. Like, what are you going to do? And he's always like, but I've already named my heir. What are you talking about? Why are we still talking about this? Like, let's move on. And then I suppose when she hears that, it's kind of just like a sigh of relief, like, oh, thank God he's finally thinking sense. His firstborn son will be the king. And I think she just dives on that and goes for it. And the second that
Hmm.
she mentions it to anybody else, they're like, oh, thank God he came to his senses in the end. And they just like automatically like, let's go push forward with the king. Go, go, go. Like, this is the way it should be. And I just
Right.
think, yeah, that's just how it happened so easily and so quickly. Like, if it was a if it was his firstborn son from a different wife or something like that, and then Alicent is like, well, like, I'm your current wife and this is our firstborn, like that might be a little more of a kind of logical argument in that scenario.
Mhm.
But the fact that it's a woman, I think everyone's just like straight away like, no, 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 she can't be the ruler. It doesn't matter if she's firstborn or not. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of why everybody just bred that big sigh of relief when it was like, okay, he's actually said Aegon, and like that's what that was probably one of my favorite parts of season 2 was where they actually had that conversation where it was just like, oh, he said it, he talked to me about fire and ice and stuff. And she's like, he spoke to you about this and stuff. And I believe, again, I've never read the books, but I believe that wasn't in the books and that was added in just for the show. So I
Mhm.
think a lot of like of the book sweaties are kind of not too happy about that because it's kind of sending the show in a different direction to the book. But me as a person who's never read the books, I'm kind of like, I love that scene. Like I remember when that scene happened, I was like nearly giddy in my seat. Like I was like, holy shit, yes, let's go. I was like, this is gonna take us down a crazy path. Like, but yeah, like I don't know, bro. For me, like I kind of watched the finale and I turned to my missus at the end and we kind of just both looked at each other and just went, oh, that was it. Like, what the fuck? It just felt like underwhelming. Like, I understand if this was like episode 6 and you had 2 left and you'd be like, oh shit, yeah, they're building up to something crazy here. Just the fact that like, the credits started rolling and I was just like, oh bro, we have to wait like another year for the next episode of this. So I was like, that is just tough. And like
Yeah.
especially with the likes of Damon who spent his whole time in that castle and then at the very end just bends the knee and it's just like, okay, off we go. Because like I thought it was going to be this cool kind of like 3-way chess match for season 3, and then it's like straight away, he gets the vision. The vision was cool, but then it's just kind of like, okay, I'm going to bend the knee. Yeah, you're the true queen. I've seen it, and blah blah blah. I was just like, okay, so we've kind of, I understand that he's now built the army for her, and it's a great like it's a great like achievement for her army. Like, you know what I mean? Like, again, I really think as the show was going on, at the start, I really thought she had no hope of winning the war, and now I'm kind of like, shit, she probably is. Like, well, like, now I suppose we know she definitely is because we've
Mhm.
seen her sitting on the throne. But then, the queen who has the visions as well, who was she talking to Damon through the tree or whatever? Um, she has said that she saw that Aegon will sit on the throne again, and we see him escape in King's Landing at the end as well. So we know he's going to come back at some point. I'm kind of like, I joked about it at the time. I was like, oh, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Like, like all these visions, it's like, you tell us exactly what happens. But, it's kind of like, uh, from a storytelling point of view, it's kind of, I can see pluses and minuses to knowing this stuff. At least we know. And then it's kind of like, how do we get there, And the fact that
Right.
she's like, when she's talking to Aegon and she's like, or Aemon, sorry, and she's like, you just disappear into a fucking like an eye of a storm or something like that, and you're never seen again, sort of thing. So I presume that there's going to be some sort of like ship battle over in the ocean, and maybe there's like a giant storm comes in, he gets sucked in with Vhagar into this storm, and then the two of them are never seen again. Kind of makes sense. Like that's kind of how I perceived what was being said there. But again, maybe I'm getting it completely wrong. I don't know, but uh,
Yeah, but I mean,
I sorry, go on.
regardless, I mean, I think I understand that the payoff wasn't great, but like the setup just feels good.
Oh, setup was great. Like
Yeah.
honestly, it was great. But I just feel like maybe to make the season hit a bit better, you might have maybe rearranged a couple of the things that happened in the season. Like
Mm.
maybe Aegon coming off the dragon and getting injured and stuff could have happened towards the very end of the season, and then maybe the season ends with Aemond becoming the Prince Regent or whatever they call it. That could have been a little more of a cliffhanger into season 3. And then maybe you could have like used a few, like, because you could have had a couple of scenes of him kind of going crazy, where he burned out the town and stuff. Like that could have happened without him being the prince or whatever, you know what I mean? Like the Prince Regent, and then maybe the season ends on a bit more of a cliffhanger where it's like, shit, he's going to sit on the throne. You're kind of like, oh my God. Like, because you imagine that would be the end. And then you're kind of like, shit, what's this guy going to do? Because we all know he's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That would have been a lot better, I think. And then you had the stuff happen a little earlier with Rhaenyra, training the riders and stuff like that, and building up and getting the dragons ready, and then her kind of scene, which I think I predicted around the start of the season. I was like, the season's probably going to end with all of those dragons taken off with new riders, and off they go to King's Landing. And that's pretty much what happened at the end. But imagine that happening at the end in the last episode, along with Aemon sitting on the throne after Aegon falling and stuff like that. Like that would have just been really fucking cool, I think. You know, it would have been a really
Yeah.
cool finale. So I didn't hate what happened. I just kind of didn't like the order. And then like the last episode just felt very slow. It felt very kind of like, I don't want to say filler, but it felt very kind of, let's just, everything that happens here, we're not going to get any payoff at all until next season, you know?
Right.
So there was no
Yeah.
cliffhanger. There was no cliffhanger, basically. It was all just kind of, let's see. And that's kind of how I felt. And I was kind of like, I had no reason to go on to like IMDb and check the ratings of the show, because I just knew like that the show was good and that the show was like obviously widely accepted by everybody. But I don't know if you've looked at this, but I was looking at the ratings of each episode, and like, 1 and 2 sitting around the lower eights, like 8.2, 8.3. I'm like, yeah, that's, standard. That's fine.
Mhm.
Episode 3 gets a 7.6. And I was like, I don't remember episode 3 being bad, but I think 7.6 for TV, especially like high caliber TV like this, is not good, I would say. Um, and then we come into episode 4, which is the one where Rhaenys dies, and that was a 9.5, like nearly perfect episode. Fantastic. Then we
Mhm.
come back to episode 5, and then it's down to a 7.4. Episode 6, 6.2. Episode 7, which is where we see the dragon riders basically claim the dragons. That was a good episode. That got an
Right.
8.9, and then the finale got a 6.3. So I was kind of like, when I saw the 6.3 for the finale, I was like, oh, okay, so other people are feeling what I'm feeling too. I was like, obviously people didn't like this episode.
Yeah. And I mean, it's such a rough patch there, man, because like we've seen stuff like this happen before, especially with like Invincible. I know, was it season 2 where we had like um we had half of the season and then it like dropped off for a bit and then we came back to it.
Yeah, there was like just
Yeah.
that random break in the middle for no reason, and then it just,
Right.
the pacing kind of felt weird then as well, because it ended on such a high and then just like shot straight back down, and it didn't have a kind of natural flow to it. Yeah, yeah, I kind of feel the same about this.
Yeah. And then even then, like when we got the ending to that season, essentially it was like he misses his wife and it's like, okay, I get that, but like,
Yeah,
is there anything else you were going to get out of this? Like, are we going to get a breakout? Are we going to get like that? To me was a little bit of a letdown compared to like what we're having here. I
yeah,
think I think with this whole second season of House of the Dragon, all it was a buildup. That's why we didn't have Damon go out and do stuff. That's why we didn't have like Rhaenyra doing anything. They literally were keeping the people that could probably do the most from doing anything at all, because they're waiting for the big build up to season 3, which is going to be like an all out war situation. Because I think
yeah.
there were news reports that were stating like season 3 is all about the next wars that are coming along the way. So
As far
it
as I know, the show will end in season 4. So yeah,
right.
we've got 2 seasons left. I presume, again, this is a guess. I've never read the books or anything. I have no idea, but my presumption is going to be that season 3 will be just the payoff for everything that season 2 has built up, and then I'm going to guess that season 3 is probably going to end with a time jump into like
Mhm.
another lineage or whatever, and then we'll have season 4 as its own season with a new cast again, and then that might look directly to the Mad King. It would be my guess. Now I don't know. I could be completely wrong with that.
Right. It's hard to say, man. All I know is that like I mean, I'm really enjoying it so far.
I've seen some people kind of trying to kind of, put it in the same kind of category as like the last episode of Game of Thrones. I'm like, that's a bit extreme. Like, I was like, the show's not that fucking bad, like where they're kind of saying like, oh, this is like as big of a drop off as the last episode or like the last season of Game of Thrones. I'm like, calm
Yeah,
down now.
that's
It's not that bad. Jesus Christ. It's been a little slow, but it is still good TV. Like, it's still good storytelling, and it's not finished yet. So we don't know how it's going to go.
right.
Like, I would be shocked if they dropped the ball with this show. I'd be shocked.
I
Although
Yeah, and
I was shocked with Game of Thrones, but like that was going down in history as probably the greatest TV show of all time until they dropped the ball in the last 2 seasons. Like, if you think about, again, I know you weren't watching it live, but I was there since day one, and around season 6, like the show was just banger after banger, episode after episode. The entire world on Sunday night, like no matter where in the world you were watching that show. Like,
Mhm.
people on my side of the world were fucking staying up till 2 a.m. to watch it, so they got no spoilers, all this stuff. Like, people were like dying in work on Monday mornings because they'd been up all night watching Game of Thrones every Sunday. Like, it was a global phenomenon. and then to go from that into what became like season 7 and season 8, it's something that'll be studied, bro. The drop off is insane. It was crazy. Like it was,
Yeah.
and if they had ended on season 6, it would be to this day probably the greatest TV show ever made. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's
yeah, look,
it's so fucked, man. Like it's I don't know what it is with the schedule nowadays. And I don't know, maybe the budgeting maybe was overdone. Maybe they had to pull back a bit. From what I remember reading, there was the possibility of 10 episodes, but for some reason they pulled back to 8, which
I
I
don't
think
get
that
that. Yeah,
yeah, I think the 10 episodes would have been perfect. Like when you have these hour longs, as far as I know, a lot of shows that are good tend to have 10-hour long episodes, and in some cases even 12.
mm-hmm.
And so like because if you think about it, a standard, if you were to go by the Simpsons rules, a standard season is about 24 episodes because they're 30 minutes long. So if you're doing about an hour long, what did something fly in?
No, sorry, go on.
So-
Sorry, I got distracted for a second, like something in my peripheral. I'm good though.
just
Sorry, it was
admiring
like
your guitar while you're watching.
it's like a flicker. No, it's just like I saw a flicker. I was like, go on, sorry.
Anyways, so like you kind of go by that ruling. So if you were to go by like an actual hour long season, then you would do 12 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Even 10 episodes would still be fine, because you could consider like maybe the first and last episodes, maybe get a little bit of extra time,
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of set the mood, and then at the end set the finale. It seems like that should be kind of your bread and butter. I don't know what it is with these new 8 episode like run times.
Yeah.
Even at 30 minutes, like there's some shows that are fucking doing 30-minute shows with 8 episodes, and it's like that's not enough for us to really
No
gauge
way.
the world. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, you're not letting people dig the claws in,
And
because like HBO used to always be 13 episodes. I thought that kind of used to be like the standard for like a lot of
yeah.
the shows used to be around 13, and then some of the shows that were like maybe a bit shorter, I think it used to be like 13:45 or maybe 10 1 hours, um and like some of the half an hour shows, or like 40-minute shows with ads or whatever on cable TV would be like 20 26 episodes or something a season. Like, but yeah, like yeah, like all the Star Wars stuff. What annoys me about the Star Wars stuff as well, like all the Disney Plus stuff, is that like there's no kind of even set time for the episode. So like episode 1 might be 50 minutes long, and you're kind of like, okay, that's nice, that's a nice pace, that's a nice length of episode, and then the next
Mhm.
episode will be like 28 minutes without the credits at the end, and they add 7 minutes of credits on to make it feel like it's a longer episode, but it's like the actual runtime of the episode is like maybe 28 minutes. You're like, fuck's sake. And then the next one, 31 minutes, 35 minutes. And then like they're building up to like a finale, which is like 46 minutes. And you're like, ooh, 46 minutes, like with 6 minutes of fucking credits. So like 40
Ooh.
minutes basically, like, it's like, yeah, just give us back. Like Netflix, I thought have always done it good. It's like always like, again, like the Daredevil show, which I think every show should try and strive to be as good as that show, because it hit every single marker perfectly. And those episodes, if I'm not mistaken, I think they were like 12 or 13 episodes a season,
Mhm.
and it was all 1 hour long, hour. No fucking, they didn't like move off the hour mark at all. It was all an hour, boom, 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 every episode. So yeah, like stick with the consistency and let the people actually sink into the world. Like, yeah, 100%,
Mhm.
100%. Yeah, look, do you want to move on to the D23 stuff?
Sure.
Um, there's been a lot of D23 announcements this weekend. I'm actually kind of like surprised how many there are. I didn't think it was going to be as much stuff as there was. There's a lot of kind of like Disney and Pixar stuff, which I'm not really interested in, but we can talk about them if you want. Like, I can just kind of shout out a list of everything that was announced if we wanted. We can kind of pick what we want to talk about and what we don't.
Sure.
What's up, Lemmy? Yeah, so like the main ones, I think, there was a trailer for Star Wars for Skeleton Crew. I don't know if you saw the trailer for Skeleton Crew. It's a new
No.
TV show. It's coming out in December. It's basically, it feels like kind of season 1 of Stranger Things meets The Goonies in space, basically. It's like a bunch of kids on a mission. they get lost in space or something, trying to find their way home. But like, it's a pretty interesting trailer. I won't bring up the trailer now, but maybe watch the trailer yourself and see what you think. But it seems kind of interesting. Um, it's a whole new cast of people. It's not tied to anything in the universe, so it's its own story. It can go anywhere it wants, which is
Mhm.
great. I think we've always been kind of saying that that's where it should go. Now, it does look like it's very heavily kind of made for children. So I don't know how much I'm going to actually enjoy it. Like, I will go in open minded, but I think I might be a bit too old for this show now. Like, I think this is something that my kids would probably enjoy more than I would. But I'll go in with an open mind for sure. Like, visually, it looks pretty cool. Jude Law's in it, and it looks like he's playing a Jedi. I don't know when in the timeline this movie's actually based. I don't think it's around the Skywalker saga at all. I think this is either before or after. I know very little about the show, but first trailer's there. Go check it out. They put up like a little like sizzle reel for Mando and Grogu. That's going to be a movie. Like, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni came out on stage and they were talking about it and everything. And they were like, we can't go to D23 and not show you something. So they kind of showed a clip. Again, you can find all this stuff on Twitter if you really want. They didn't release a lot of this stuff officially, but people have put up recordings and stuff. So they kind of just show like a bunch of like the kind of history of Grogu and Mando meeting each other and stuff like that. And then it kind of just jumps into some new footage, and the new footage looks really well done. The two of them are on like this little like spaceship, and they come zipping out, and they end up like landing in front of two big, like, those big AT-AT units that were in like episode 5 in the snow, the big legged things. So like they're pulling out in front of them. They're just like, it looks really cool. Like, they're starting to shoot at them and all. It feels like OG Star Wars, like, and I think that's what they're trying to do. Like, they're bringing in like snow kind of style stormtroopers and stuff like that. Like, they're really trying to kind of work off the like Empire Strikes Back sort of stuff, like, which for me is a win. So we'll see how that goes. They also put up a clip, and the main actor for Andor was there, and they're talking about Andor season 2, which is coming out as well. From what I've heard, I wasn't really a big fan of Andor, as you know, and anybody who's listening, our coverage of Andor wasn't great. But Andor 2 apparently is going to feel a lot more like Star Wars, and apparently there's 12 episodes from what I hear, and they're doing it over a 4-year time span. And they're going to do like the first 3 episodes is year 1, we'll call it. Then the next 3 episodes, they jump forward a year. Next 3 episodes, a year forward and a year forward. And the season finale will tie right into Rogue One, the movie. So Rogue One is one of my favorite Star Wars movies. So, I have a much more of a kind of hope that Andor season 2 will be a lot better than the first season. And if they're going to like tie it right into the beginning of Rogue One, I kind of feel like we might be onto a bit of a winner here with this one. So I'm hopeful. Skeleton Crew, maybe not for me, but it looks kind of fun. I think I might enjoy it. Mando movie, yeah, I'm hopeful. And Andor, I'm hopeful. So Star Wars are off to a good start, I think, in my opinion. Also, the Marvel stuff, they brought out the entire cast for Daredevil. So it was like Charlie Cox, the Punisher, John Bernthal was on stage, Karen Page was on stage, Foggy Nelson was on stage, and they all kind of just did a little panel with Kevin Feige, and they all had a bit of a laugh, and the vibes are fucking fantastic. They showed a trailer. The trailer looks gritty. It looks dark. I think they even showed a scene of like Matt like with a girl, like, because he's a bit of a womanizer, as we know, but like, I saw a really funny tweet about it, so we took a screenshot of it and put it up. But it's like, of course, it's going to be Matt Murdock that fucking introduces sex into the MCU because he's such a
Oh
dog,
god.
which I think is hilarious. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm very, very hopeful. They have, like, again, the show's not out till next March, and they've finished production on season 1, and they're about to start production on season 2 straight away before we even see a frame of it. So that's a really good sign. We've got Castle back as the Punisher. Like, he looks gritty in the trailer. He's got a big beard and all. Like, and Bernthal's on stage. He's like, I'm so happy to be back working here, and like, it's an amazing like journey with all these guys. And D'Onofrio's there, and he's like so happy and everything. I'm just like, this seems to be, all cylinders firing here. Like, it looks good. Feige's on stage. He's wearing a Daredevil hat and everything. Like, so, like, Feige is always kind of trying to rep the good projects that are coming up, like the hats that he wears and stuff. So Yeah, like I think they're all in. This show, obviously, we know it's got a rewrite. It dumped a bunch of shit episodes because it was going in a bad direction, and I feel like since they kind of decided to go back to basics, this is a show that that they decided to really do that with, because I think they saw like 6 episodes or something like that, and they were like, Jesus Christ, cancel it, it's terrible, like start again. And I think the rumors was that Matt, like Karen and Foggy were dead, and Matt was like in a depression. He wasn't Daredevil anymore, and like for 4 episodes, you had to kind of see him slumping around and being sulky, and then he puts the costume back on after 4 episodes, and it's just like, gee, I think Feige saw this, was like, no, bro, we like, not a chance. And like literally one of the first things that Feige says when he comes out on stage is like, we made this to kind of replicate the original show, and you're kind of like, yes, 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 like the original show is perfect, like just make season 4, like, you know what I mean, like, and I think that's what they're actually doing now. So
Yeah.
which is massive sigh of relief, like thank Christ. And so yeah, Daredevil, huge, like it's probably my most anticipated thing for the start of next year anyway, for sure. So we'll see. I hope I'm right. Fantastic Four, they showed like the cast are actually, like, they're in the middle of filming the series now. I think they started filming it in London at the start of the week. So they showed like the guys on set, like, and they showed like Johnny Storm, played by Joseph Quinn. A lot of people not really liking that casting. Again, I'll hold off judgment till I see it, but I think we've learned that, like, from many times, like Heath Ledger as the Joker and stuff, like, don't judge before you see the end product, because sometimes obviously they see things that we don't see. So again, I thought the same with Pedro as Joel in The Last of Us. I was like, what the fuck, where did that casting come from? And then you see it and you're like, shit, okay, he's great. So, and again, a lot of people are saying they don't like him as Reed. Let's wait and see what happens. So, you know what I mean? I'm not going to fucking start throwing stones just yet. But Joseph Quinn, like, the suit doesn't look great, and he kind of looks a bit goofy, and he's just sitting there, like, it doesn't look good. But again, I'll hold off judgment until it actually comes out. They showed that they've only started filming it this week, so they don't have a lot of actual official footage from the movie, but I think they shot some kind of promo reel or something like that where Reed's in front of a classroom and he's talking about time travel or something and physics and all this sort of stuff. And like it's set in like a kind of futuristic, like alternate world, but it's the 60s, so it's like that, like kind of past futuristic kind of stuff. So I'm interested. I'm definitely interested, and I think it's the plot has kind of been revealed that the world that they're in is probably going to die to an incursion, but they're going to survive and come into the 616 by the end of it, and that's kind of how they merge in, which is obviously going to happen. What else happened? They brought out Mackie and everything onto stage to talk about Captain America 4. They showed a new trailer. In the new trailer, they had Harrison Ford actually transform into the Red Hulk, and they showed a picture of the Red Hulk. Did you see it?
Yeah, I caught a glimpse of it, and it's all right. Like, I don't know, like I need to compare it to like the comic variant.
I'm gonna pull it up. Hang on. Just to show anybody who may be watching us that hasn't seen it, but it's. Can you see this?
Yeah,
I think that looks cool as fuck.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good, but it reality, it just kind of makes me think it looks a little bit like the same build as like the Incredible Hulk, which I'm not entirely against or anything. Like they should look roughly the same.
Yeah.
I think the design, like actually, like I keep looking at it and I'm like, you know what, that actually looks like, Harrison Ford would look like a general that turned into a Hulk. So I could see that. I think it's really dumb that they probably tried to get, like, I don't know if they tried to get Harrison Ford to put on like the mustache, and he was like, yeah, no, I'm not fucking doing that. And then and so they're like, fine, we'll write it in that you shaved it.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because when you look at the comics, when you go the comic variants of the Red Hulk, he doesn't have a mustache. So I think it's completely fine. Like it works. It sets it in stone. They give an explanation, which I think is better than like just going with nothing, because I think people would be more upset being like, What the fuck? Why didn't he have the mustache? Get him to fucking wear the mustache.
Yeah, I've seen people upset about the mustache. I don't really give a shit, but
Yeah,
I'm not a big Thunderbolt Ross fan. I think he is kind of known for the tash, but I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all.
They explain in the movie that he got rid of it, so just
Yeah,
let it go. Like if they didn't, like I said, if they didn't explain a thing, then it'd have been like, you guys suck. You just listened to Harrison Ford, didn't you?
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like again, like like Ford, I would say wouldn't really have. Now again, I don't know this for sure, but I get the feeling that he wouldn't really give a shit about wearing a tash. Like he's an actor, like you know what I mean. Like, and he's changes his appearance from time to time. Like, what would stop him putting on a fake one? Like, they could do fake facial hair that looks real now. Like I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know.
Ah, dude, real quick. Like, so if you have the search engine up, look him up real quick. Harrison Ford mustache. Tell me that doesn't look the same as like. Oh man, I think he could have done it.
Easily, bro.
Right,
It
like
looks great.
it looks amazing.
It looks great. Yeah. Look, he's a great man. And like there's loads of it. He had a beard for ages, like, so
Yeah, he did.
there's no way he's not growing facial hair for a specific reason. I think honestly he would have been down to do it, but I think that they actually left it off to justify the recast and to make the joke and do the kind of Don Cheadle thing where it's like, I'm here now, deal with it sort of thing. Like, I really
Mhm.
feel like that's why they did it. They did it for that comedic factor of having that thing. Jesus, you look different here, sir. And it's like, yeah, they told me I wouldn't get it if I didn't shave. Like, and I genuinely think that's the reason why they did it, to make it look like a different actor or make the character look different because the actor's different.
Right.
I really feel like that's why they did it. Like, I think that's the only real reason. Like, because I do not think that Ford would throw a strap about having to have a tash. I really don't.
I would hope not. Like but at the same time, I've heard things from Harrison Ford where, like, in some cases he's not the greatest person to work with. But he still will work with you. I think it's just, I don't know what it is. Maybe like it almost feels like he hates certain things when it comes to acting.
He hates Star Wars anyway, that's for sure. Like, he does not like the fandom. He doesn't even really like the movies. He only did I think he wasn't even really cast in episode 4. I think he was a friend of George's, and George asked him to step in to do a table read, to read lines to get actors for Luke and Leia and stuff.
Mhm.
And he had said to George, like George had said to him, "Will you just step in and read lines for this character, Han Solo?" And he was like, "Yeah, cool." So he did a couple of like the taped reads and stuff like that for auditions, and then they were just like, "Do you want to play this character? You're fucking brilliant." And he was like, "Yeah, okay, fine." And then obviously probably not thinking that anything else would come of it, and then turned into, you got to do 2 more movies. And he wasn't really happy about doing those movies because he wanted to do Indiana Jones. But I think he was kind of told, do this for us, we'll do Indy for you, like, sort of thing. Like, so he kind of he did it for his own kind of personal gain or whatever, which is fine. Is what it is. That's the game, right? One for you, one for them, as they say. Like, that's what a lot of actors do. So yeah, that's
To be
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, but to be completely honest, I like him more as Indy.
Yeah, well, he probably put on a better show because he wanted to be Indy.
Yeah.
He did, like, I think he's great as Han Solo, but you do get the feeling that he didn't want to be there. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this can probably be found online, but I think he only agreed to do episode 7 because they killed him in it. Like, they were like, "Oh, you're gonna kill Han Solo, I'm in," like, sort of thing. Like, I think
Yeah.
that's why he actually did it. And then I think there was a bit of a struggle to get him back for episode 9 for that vision scene. So, you know what I mean? I genuinely think he did it because he would, like, took the satisfaction in the character actually dying,
Right.
which is pretty dark, but fair
Yeah,
play
but
to him at the same time.
like he pretty much has like the similar style as Bill Murray. Bill Murray, I think, also has that kind of like thought, like, hey, if you're gonna put me in a sequel or something, just fucking kill me, get rid of me, like I'm done.
Yeah. One and done, baby.
Yeah,
Um,
like it's rightly so. Like in certain cases, I think that they don't want to be typecast.
Yeah, and then as well, if you, especially nowadays, a lot of actors probably don't want to tie themselves into these big 10-year contracts and be, not able to kind of act and, do different jobs. A lot of actors like the the change of characters, and the vast like kind of difference of being different characters in different
Mhm.
projects and getting to act in different genres and all this sort of stuff, like test themselves as actors. Do actors want to be do you want to be Chris Evans being Captain America for 12 years, like, or do you want to be able to go out and do other projects, like? So there's probably a lot to be said for that.
Right.
um which is kind of why I think there's a lot of big actors out there that you've probably would have thought that you would have seen be a superhero or whatever by now in the big Marvel engine, but they just don't want to sign these big contracts.
Yeah. I,
Yeah.
I mean, rightly so. Like it seems like it was on a decline for a while, and I don't think that Deadpool has saved it, but I think it's really brought it back up from the bottom of the roller coaster. So it's
Speaking of Deadpool, did you see it
did you
again?
did you see the Peel Pools and the Peel Verines?
No, I don't think so.
Ah, dude, they're adorable. You should
What
look
is
at
it?
them. They were outside of D23. What
Don't think I saw
what's
it.
that what's that mascot or character from Fortnite that looks like a like is it called a
Oh, the
Peely?
banana peely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like a yeah, it's like a little plushie, but it's like a little banana Wolverine. They're
No, no,
apparent.
like there were people
Oh, they're
literally
actual
in
things. Oh,
like
okay.
actual peel, like people in Peel Verine costumes and Peel
That's
Pools.
hilarious, dude. That's hilarious. Um, sorry, you touched on two things I wanted to talk about anyway, so we can get into them. Yo, Griff, what's up, dude? How are you?
Hey.
Um, so basically, yeah, first of all, you mentioned Deadpool crossed $1 billion today. Fantastic. Delighted for it. It's probably got another week or so in theaters, I would say. I was checking because I want to go see it again in IMAX before it leaves. And the
Mhm.
last day here for it IMAX to show on IMAX is Thursday. So I'm going to see it with one of the guys on Friday, or sorry, on Wednesday. And it's going to be like my last chance to see it. Did you get to see it a second time, or you're not really bothered?
For Deadpool and Wolverine?
Yeah,
I was busy.
yeah.
I didn't really get a chance to check it out. I'll have to check it out when it comes out again.
Oh, like I'm gonna probably order the steelbook for it. To be honest, I like since Spider-Man No Way Home, I've been trying to collect like the steelbooks of the movies that I really like. So
Mhm.
I got, you know what I mean. Like, and I want to try and buy as many of them as I can. I know I wish I did this from the start, but I'd love to have the whole MCU on steelbook. But like some of the older movies are so fucking expensive now. Like I can't justify paying like 40 $50 for a movie. Like, fuck that. It's outrageous. But some of them you can get kind of cheap anyway. So I'm going to try and pick them up early and get them at
Right.
they're probably the cheapest price. But yeah, it hit a billion. It's probably got another 5-6 days to go. So I think the number one R-rated movie ever is God, what is it? I can't even remember what's number one right now, but it's literally a little over a billion. Like it's 1,760,000 or something like that. I think it's actually going to blow past it. I think it might finish on like 1.2 billion, and it'll be the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time, which is pretty fucking cool.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty cool. I kind of thought it was going to easily blow past like 1.5 and get close to 2 billion. But I don't know. I think if it didn't have the R rating, I think it probably would have. I think maybe there's probably a lot of people that want to see it but can't because they're too young. Um. So
Yeah. I mean it's really like not as bad as I would say like the first and second movies, like in terms of R rated.
no.
They
Oh
definitely toned it down, but it wasn't a it wasn't bad. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. No, definitely not. The Joker, the original Joker movie, is number one ever. So it's at 1,064,000,000.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Deadpool and Wolverine, as I checked, this is 1,029,000,000. So it has, if it does like another 50 million globally, it's gonna surpass Joker one, which is
Okay.
wild, dude. It's wild. I love it. Oppenheimer's number three. Deadpool 2 is number four. Deadpool 1 is number five. So the entire Deadpool trilogy is in the top five.
That's awesome.
That's yeah, it's crazy. It's so cool, dude. And then Logan has been knocked down to number 10, so it's in the top 10. So you have both of the guys in the top 10 or rated of all time, which is fucking sweet. I loved it because like it was either last week or the week before they took over Passion of the Christ, and you know that whole like Marvel Jesus joke and the thing. It's like they've overtaken Jesus, which I thought was hilarious. Yeah, so I'm gonna see it again on Wednesday with a friend of mine. This dude who I'm going with, like he's one of my best friends. He's not really a Marvel sweaty like us or anything, so I was kind of like, have you seen all the X-Men movies and stuff? And he's like, no. He's like, what should I watch? And I was kind of like, have you seen the Deadpool movies at least? And he's like, I saw the first one. I was like, okay, so you need to at least watch Logan and Deadpool 2. You have to have those two movies watched before we go to the cinema on Wednesday, because if you don't watch those two, you're going to be completely lost. But I said, look, I'll fill you in as much as I can, and I'll be probably telling him loads of shit in the car on the way home, like that he's obviously going to miss, but because I don't even think he's seen like all the MCU movies or anything, but I think he'll get, like, even if you don't get all of like the old school cameos and stuff, I still think the movie's good and you'll have a good time, lots of comedy, lots of action, all that sort of stuff. So like he might not know who Jennifer Garner's fucking Elektra is, or he's not going to know who Pyro is and stuff like that. But I don't think any of that stuff is like that important to like really like ruin your viewing experience.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it'll still be. I think it'll still be good. Bit of Fortnite news. We don't really talk about gaming too much on this channel, but I'm a big gamer. You are a big gamer as well. I know you don't play Fortnite, but Fortnite have officially launched their next season is going to be a Marvel season, and they put out a trailer at D23, which is why you saw all of these plushy Wolverines and stuff for the peely Wolverines, because the Wolverines, it's going to be a skin. There's going to be a banana Wolverine skin in the next season of Fortnite. There's going to be a new Doctor Doom skin, and like he's the big villain of the season and stuff like that. And they were like, Kevin Feige came out on stage and released this big fucking they did like a kind of collab where it was like an event in game. You could log into Fortnite and view this as an event, and then it showed the trailer for the new season and stuff like that. And there's going to be kind of like Fortnite little mixes of like Captain America skins, and it looks like you're going to get like to actually use the powers of some of these heroes. So like if you pick up like a mythic weapon in Fortnite, it usually would be a gun or whatever, but next season it's probably going to be like Cap shield, and then you could throw the shield around and kill people and stuff, and fucking Iron Man's pulsers and stuff like that. And I think you can get the powers of the Black Panther and stuff like that, and you can kind of run around fast and chop people up and stuff. So it sounds like next season's going to be pretty fun. So any Fortnite people that are listening, the current season has been fucking awful. It's been just a really bad meta of just people sitting in cars and running people over and all this sort of shit, and it just hasn't been fun for a lot of people. So I think Marvel's going to save the day when it comes to Fortnite. I hope I'm right now. Maybe it could be terrible as well, but we'll see what happens. But I'm excited. I'm going to be doing a stream of it next Friday when it goes live, and doing a Battle Pass giveaway on the channel and stuff like that. So shameless plug for my Twitch. But if you want to win the Battle Pass for free, head over to the stream on Friday.
Additionally, there's a rumor that The Simpsons may be coming to Fortnite as well.
So there's like a big, like this was kind of announced maybe like 8 or 9 months ago, I think. But there was a big collab between Disney and Epic Games for the Unreal Engine 5 stuff, and I think they're building like a Disneyland in Fortnite or some shit. I don't really know exactly what's going to happen, but I think it's like a kind of Disney game mode or a Disney kind of engine or something like that. And then there's going to be these different islands like Star Wars Land, Marvel Land, probably the Simpsons Land, all that sort of stuff. And it's going to be like probably like different game modes within each of these islands or something like that. So yeah, there's definitely been a partnership between Disney and Epic Games. So I originally thought it was going to be them using Unreal Engine 5 for like their productions and stuff, but maybe that will be the case as well. But I don't know. It seems like yeah, there's going to be like some crazy collabs. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
Let me just shout out a couple of other D23 things for people who are listening that might be interested. So I'm not really into the animated stuff. Like there's some, I can't deny there's some 10 out of 10 animated movies. Like I haven't seen Inside Out 2 yet, but Inside Out 1 is a very clever and very kind of wholesome film. The second movie's done 1.5 billion in the box office. It's obviously a smash. It's become like the number one animated movie ever. I think it overtook Frozen. So it's literally like the king. So they announced Moana 2. I haven't seen Moana 1, so I don't really know. But The Rock came out on stage and everything and was meant to be really cool. They announced some Monster Jam movie, which I think is like Monsters Inc. meets fucking Cars or some shit. I don't know. I'm kind of guessing just off a picture here, but they released the title for Avatar 3, which is going to be Fire and Ash, whatever that means. The Avatar movies are kind of just, for me personally, it's, I'll go to see it in cinema because like they're one of these like movies, like James Cameron makes these like epic kind of cinema experiences. Like, you know, Avatar 1 was like one of the first 3D movies, and it was like everybody wanted to go see that movie because it was like the first movie that was made properly for 3D. And then the new movie, the second movie, was like a spectacle as well because it's like, you know, now we're doing it in 4K, and it's, you know, it was sensational to watch. Like, I presume the third one is going to be the same thing. It'll be one where I'll experience it on the big screen and then probably never watch it again, honestly. So, but yeah, I'll be there. You'll get my money, James Cameron. Don't worry. They released a teaser that they're doing Toy Story 5. Like, you know, easy win. Toy Story's amazing. What else have we got? Incredibles 3 got announced as well. A couple of things I've never even heard of. Hoppers is one. Don't even know what that is. I think it's a new kind of original. What else? Zootopia 2. Never heard of Zootopia 1, but if you like
Really?
that, happy to, yeah, I don't know. I've never seen it. So I'm kind of, I'm lucky in a way because, you know, like my son doesn't really watch, he doesn't have the attention span to sit through like long movies, so I don't have to sit and watch Disney movies at home all the time, which is great. But then at the same time, you know, like when you bring him to the cinema, sometimes he's kind of like wants to go before the movie's over and stuff, and you're kind of just like, just sit here and just chill for a bit. Like, you know, he's very much like up and at him and all the time, like wanted to do something else. Like, so it's kind of like, ugh, like sitting through a 2-hour movie is tough, like, you know. So thankfully I don't have to sit and watch Frozen all the time and shit like that. Like, but you know, my daughter is probably going to be the exact opposite to him, so I'm probably going to have to
100%.
I'll know all the songs off by heart, I'm sure, soon enough. Like, so
You're gonna want to build a snowman.
Yeah, so yeah, that's probably why I haven't seen a lot of the new Pixar stuff and all. So, but look, you know, I'm always down to try these things. Like some movies, like, you know, Coco and stuff is like incredible. You know, like
Yeah.
they make amazing movies, like they really do. Like everybody knows this. Trying to think, did I miss anything? I think I kind of got it all. They released another trailer for Agatha. I feel so sorry for Agatha, bro. Like, because that show has to follow Deadpool and Wolverine in the MCU. Like, and it's kind of like, Jesus, where are we going here? Like, you know, they all came out on stage and they're like doing a song and a dance, and I'm like, it's just such a different vibe from where the MCU like it seems to be going with like the likes of Daredevil and stuff like that. They're kind of getting back to basics. They're going more ground level. They're going more gritty, and then you've got like Agatha coming out on stage and singing and all this stuff and making these cheesy jokes that aren't funny. I'm sorry. And like, you know, the show, I really feel like it's part of the whole phase 4 thing that just didn't work, and they've put their hands up and said, like, you know, it doesn't work, we're going back to basics, sort of thing. But this is like kind of one of those shows that's kind of still hanging around, you know, stinking up the place. And I think it's going to be one where it's like, oh, let's just watch this and get it out of the way. Would you be?
Yeah.
Would you? I don't like. Again, I'm saying this now, but maybe when it comes around to it, I'll want to watch it live. But I kind of wouldn't mind maybe just letting it build up, watch the whole thing in one go, and just do one podcast on it. You know, I know I'm saying this now, but you know, we could get to October time and there could be nothing on, and maybe we'll need to watch it and to kind of keep the podcast going. But I
Right.
kind of feel like we could nearly maybe like a couple of episodes build up, watch them, and then maybe do it in like 2 or 3 episodes rather than kind of doing it on a weekly basis. We can talk
Yeah.
about, we'll talk closer to the time for sure, but
Yeah. It's really not on my radar. I really wish it could be, but it's just
yeah,
not.
it seems so cheesy, bro. Like there's the new trailer that came out. There's a line in it. She says, I can't remember the line off the top of my head, but I shivered when I heard it. Like, I was just like, oh god, that's so bad. Like, it's so cheesy, dude. Oh, I could just tell it's not for me.
It's just
Throw up.
like I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. It's just maybe it's the last remnants of things that like we knew that were going to be cringe regardless.
Mm, yeah,
Like just it's created another. It essentially created another girl group, didn't it?
kind of. Yeah, she's kind of creating her own coven again, and she's
But
she's doing
like,
this like walk down this witch's road, which is like fucking Wizard of Oz shit or something. Like, it's like, the trailer, they're like, nobody makes it back when they when they walk the road, and it's like, this is just outrageous. Like, but yeah, like, I don't know, she's doing a walk to get her powers back or something, and she's gonna come across a load of like witches and demons on her path, and it sounds like Sabrina the Teenage Witch sort of shit. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I don't know, bro. Again, I'll watch it, but I'm probably not going to enjoy it. It's gonna probably hit the same as Miss Marvel for me.
yeah. Well, I mean, Miss Marvel had a good start. It's just
Oh, great
like,
start! Episode 1 was fantastic, but very very quickly fell off.
yeah, because it just started it had a good idea, sort of. I wasn't
Yeah,
really a big fan. I still wasn't. I'm not a big fan of the like the power change, and some people may have been like, well, it's just so close to Mr. Fantastic. Well, we haven't seen Mr. Fantastic in a long fucking time, so give someone something associated with it. I don't care, just do it.
I agree.
And even then, it's not even the exact same situation. Although you can sort of compare the two, it's not the exact same thing. It's essentially like they're pulling from different parts of the multiverse to
Hmm.
make themselves larger or smaller.
Yeah,
So essentially, like, her being is like working with herself from different dimensions, essentially, or
yeah,
not dimensions, but like different universes. And that sounds cool to me. Like, I'm totally down to see that. Like, why can't you just portray that?
yeah.
Part of me thinks that it was mainly because it was probably way too hard to do it in a CG form without making it look like maybe a little dumb.
Mm,
Because maybe they didn't want to take the time to polish and make CG look incredible. Which, I mean, when you're setting up for a new character, that's essentially supposed to be the what's it called? It's essentially supposed to be the poster for like the hero that women would like to see, like even the young women. You want to set it up so that like she's cool and she has the right attitude, and this was just not it. Like, none of it felt like an actual hero. It just felt like someone who was dying for attention or relationship, either from their parent, like, to basically be accepted by their parents for what they want to do.
mhm.
Which, I mean, in reality, they accepted her for who she is. They just wanted her to be safe. uh
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then the whole situation with like getting close with that one kid who like was also like, I think his mom was the bad guy at that point.
Yeah, he was
It,
he turned out to be her cousin, but they were from like a different timeline or something, wasn't it? They were from a different like a different dimension or something. They were
like a
Jin or
cousin.
yeah, like they were related or something, wasn't there? Like a twist that like she had a crush on her
Oh,
cousin or something the whole time.
maybe, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think
That
they
seems
were
weird.
related, bro.
I don't know. We'll have to double check that. That could be
Yeah,
that could be kind of a weird situation.
yeah. No, I
But it
think that
just
was the case. And that's why I was
but
kind of like at the time I was like, oh shit, that's your cousin, bro.
right. But this was literally setting up for the Marvels, which didn't do shit.
Yeah. So like the way I look at it, and I think they've kind of maybe started to realize this, but not every character needs their own project. You know what I mean? Like team ups are great. Let somebody appear here. Like, you could bring in Miss Marvel as a character. She shows up in another project. She gets that movie. She's hanging around with the Marvels, and then she goes and does like another project, like, let her be in Ironheart or something like that, or Young Avengers or whatever. Like
Mhm.
you see Mark Ruffalo's Hulk doing that all the time. He just kind of pops in here and there, like, I mean, he show up in an Avengers movie here, then he's in Ragnarok here, you know, and I know they don't do the Hulk movie because of distribution shit or whatever, but I find that actually works for the character. It's like, we don't need per se. I'm not saying Hulk. I'm just using Hulk as an example. I would love a
Yeah.
Hulk movie, but I just think like characters can be done like that, where they just pop in and they're not like the star of the show. They're just there. They're there to help and just be like. I think Ant-Man is probably a great example. I know he has a trilogy, but he worked better, I think, popping into the Avengers movies and being kind of funny and helping out and doing all sorts of shit and helping out with the plan to create the time machines and shit like that. Like, you know, his first movie, yes, great, but the other two movies were shit. And I think if you had the first movie and then him as a supporting character in like the Avengers and Civil War and stuff like that, that would have been a way better arc for Ant-Man rather than giving him two shit movies. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
you could have just given him his own movie, let us be introduced to the character that way. Like he's a big actor and stuff. Great, give him a solo movie. The first one did well. Then just let him turn into a supporting character, which is all he basically really is. And
I
then
mean, but that's the problem, is that they want to spearhead all of the main characters that people find to be very popular and not try to put in more effort to make certain other characters like even more popular. It's like, I get it. It's a marketing thing. They were probably sitting at the table and going like, nobody's gonna buy Ant-Man stuff. They want to buy Iron Man and Thor and Spider-Man. Um, and I don't know if they even like, can they do toy lines for Hulk at least?
I don't even know. I don't know, bro. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I think whatever was blocking them in the past, I think that's ended now, right? I think Marvel have the rights back now. So as far as I know, they can actually use him properly. Because I think there's rumors floating around now that we're going to actually get to see like a Wolverine versus Hulk movie. I think that's kind of what's maybe next for Hugh Jackman down the rumor mill, the pipeline, which would
Possibly.
which would be fucking cool.
Um,
While you're looking that up, are you an Umbrella Academy fan?
no, I have not watched it.
So I loved the first season, and then season 2 was pretty good as well. Season 3 was kind of produced during COVID and then released still during lockdown, but towards the end of it. But season 3 just kind of really fell off because the whole thing was basically shot in a hotel and it felt like it. You know what I mean? Like it just felt like a real closed production. I really feel like COVID kind of fucked that show.
Mhm.
But season 4, which is the last season, came out there on Friday, and I've seen the first like 2 episodes now, and it's actually really good. Like I just watched an episode before we went live here, and the episode that I just watched was better than the entire last season put together. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, they got it back. Like, so it's really feeling good again. So, I'd recommend it. Like, it's a pretty interesting watch.
Yeah, maybe I'll check it out. I think there's a new season of Hit Monkey, which I haven't seen either.
I haven't watched it.
Do you know what Hit Monkey is?
It's an anime, isn't it? Is it?
Anime? I wouldn't say it's an anime. It's from Marvel Comics. I don't know really anything about Hit Monkey, but I know that it's a Marvel character.
Was this? Did Amazon make this,
Mm,
or is it on Disney Plus?
I don't know. Let me see. Hit
Monkey
Monkey
season
TV
2.
series, Hulu.
Hulu, yeah, sorry.
Hit Monkey is a wrong Japanese macaque who is mentored by the ghost of an American assassin named Bryce Fowler as he damages Tokyo's crime underworld. Hit Monkey and Bryce then travel to New York City.
I've never seen it, bro. Never. Did you like the first season though?
I told you I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying you hadn't seen season 2 yet.
No, but they
Let me
were
know.
referring to that, like July 15th was apparently the next release of the second season. So I mean, if anything, there's a lot of these different shows. So if we start running starved, like we should check out some of the shows that are still Marvel based that we can at least review, especially this new one. I mean, it's like it is Marvel. It is not
Yeah.
technically Marvel. It is Marvel.
Yeah, definitely. Like, there is times during the year where we hit some dry spells. So yeah, I'm always down to kind of branch out a little bit for sure. Or
It-
even, get some guests on and, just push the boat out a bit, talk about some different stuff. We can do like some gaming streams as well, maybe, or like just chatting gaming news as well. Like I'm sure like we could we could definitely chat for an hour about gaming easily. So yeah, like I'm always down to try different things.
I mean, it's still Marvel. I'm just
True,
saying it's still
true. I
Marvel.
feel like we don't have to stick to Marvel either. You know what I mean? Like we talk about DC stuff all the time. We talk about Star Wars. We talk about fucking anime from time to time. Definitely.
Sure.
I'm always down. Always down. Speaking about gaming, real quick, sorry, because I just opened up when I did a search for that Hit Monkey. I just wanted to see what it looked like. A fucking sponsored ad came up for Ubisoft for the Star Wars Outlaws game. Have you heard any of the shit about this game?
I mean, I did, and I already knew it was going to be a trash fire from the get go. So,
Bro, like they released like I think IBM or one of these, or not IBM, what are they called? One of these fucking sites released like 17 minutes of gameplay for the game, and it just looks awful. The cutscenes look bad, the gameplay looks terrible, the AI in the game just are like stupid. Like they just stand there, get shot. Like it looks terrible. The explosions look like something out of PS3 cutscenes. Like it's just awful. How they released that to the public is beyond me. And if you look up, like, do a fucking Google search after this podcast, but like, look up the prices of the pre-orders and stuff. Jesus Christ, man! Like the way that they've kind of done the tariffs and stuff, like they're trying to push people onto like the Ubisoft, like online service rather than like buying a deluxe edition. It's like pay this like extortionate amount of money plus an extra cost to get Ubisoft Live, and we'll give you more content. Like they're actually cutting levels off to players that buy the standard edition and stuff. It's like if you don't buy the standard edition, you can't play a level in the game and stuff. Like they're actually like putting parts of the game behind paywalls, like, which is just outrageous to me. Like whatever about cosmetics and getting credits for fucking consumables or whatever they do, like that's one thing. I understand buying a deluxe edition. Like I bought the deluxe for Jedi Survivor. Loved the first game. I was like,
mhm.
I want to get the skins to look like Obi-Wan in the game. I was like, fuck it, that's cool. Like I don't mind paying money for that sort of stuff. Like I know it's stupid, but it makes sense in my head. Like I'm like, okay, I could kind of justify this pricing or whatever. But to tell people, like, if you're going to be a cheapskate and pay €90 or nearly $100 for the fucking standard edition of a game, which is outrageous, by the way,
Mhm.
and not get all the content, that is just like shocking to me. Like I was excited when I heard the idea of this game, and when they first put like a launch trailer out there or something, and it looked quite good. It was indoors, the lighting looked well, the gameplay looked kind of interesting. You were sneaking around like Assassin's Creed, and you had like a little alien with you, like, which was kind of like your R2D2 or whatever. It's kind of always the same shit with Star Wars. Like, it's the main character and either a droid or a fucking little pet or something. Um, but it looked cool the way you could control the pet and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, this kind of looks interesting. I'll definitely want to play this on stream, being a big Star Wars head. But then when I saw this new trailer, I was like, okay, I'm not buying this on day one. Absolutely not. There's no way I'm paying full price for this game. I was kind of thinking, I might even wait for it to go up on fucking Game Pass or something, and I'll play it then, like, sort of thing. Like, I'm like kind of like what they did with the Suicide Squad game. I was
Mhm.
excited to play that game. I fucking pre-ordered the prequel comic books to read them and everything, like to be like proper, like embedded into that story. And then the game turned into a piece of shit, and I was like, okay, I'm not playing this. Fuck that. And I ended up, now I have a free copy of it, so I might play it. But I hear it's so bad that it's not even worth playing. So yeah, I don't know, dude. I think Star Wars Theory is going to be playing it on day one, so I'm just going to watch his streams of it and see what it looks like. I'm not paying it for it, like, not a chance. Like, it's going to need to really impress me in somebody's stream for me to actually buy it. But
Right.
like, look at like some of the tariff prices. I think the top tariff is over, like, well over like $110.
And that's a scam. That's thievery,
It
dude.
is,
Like
yeah,
it's
it is.
ridiculous.
But and even to put that, like, GTA 6, right? If GTA 6 cost $250, I would still buy it, right? 100%. I think it's going to change gaming. Like, it's going to be game of the year. It's going to be game of the next 5 years. When that game comes out, it'll, like GTA 5, it'll go for 10 years. You know what I mean? I think you could spend $300 on that game. I hope nobody from Rockstar is listening to me and decides, fuck it, yeah, let's do it. But like, honestly, I would pay no matter what the price tag is. I'm buying that game. Do you know what I mean? Like, day one, booting up the PS5, I will have it bought no matter what. We'll be streaming it day one, like, guaranteed. But to do that for a game like this, uh, where you're kind of putting I think the standard starts at €95, like my currency, and like that's just blasphemy. Like that's insanity.
Hmm.
And again, if they did the same, and I know they will probably will, I think GTA will probably start at like 149.99 or something. And I'm like, yeah, I won't even think about it, bro. I'll be like, order, boom, done. Won't even think. But you just know that game's going to be good. Like, like there's no way it won't be. But for to do that after like releasing this, and like they're pushing pre-orders, they're paying they're now like starting to pay like creators to promo the game. I saw Shroud doing like a sponsored stream for it and all, and I was like, oh bro, that's like awful. Like I like Shroud, but like he put up a 40-minute video on his YouTube, and he's like, it starts the video off like, oh, thanks to Ubisoft for giving me the game. I get to play the first 40 minutes of the game. Make sure you pre-order the game, guys. It's like, come on, let's go start the game. And he plays the 40 minutes, and then again, I kind of skimmed through it, and like it looked awful, and like all the comments were just gold, bro. Like, just like, why does this? Why are the graphics shit in the cutscenes? What's wrong with her hair and all? Like her hair's all like kind of like waving about as if it's like glitching and stuff. Like like Witcher 3 like cutscenes where the where it all goes kind of goofy. And
Hmm.
you're just kind of like that's what it looks like in 2024, bro. I'm like, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? It looks awful. And again, like he plugs the fucking preload at the end of the pre-order at the end of the video as well. I'm just like, oh, Shroud, no, bro. I hope they paid you a lot for this because it's such a bad look. Such a bad look. And the comments were just absolutely gold on the video as well. Yeah, it's not good, bro. Not good for Ubisoft. And then they obviously have the whole scandal with the new Assassin's Creed game as well.
It I like I don't know what it is with Ubisoft. I don't know why they're having such a hard time setting things up properly. I think it's I don't know what their team is doing. I don't know why they've become such like a joke.
Yeah.
It just seems like they were well regarded back then, and now they're just shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, bro. And like so many so many people like shit on EA all the time, and it's like, like, oh, they make shit Star Wars games and all this stuff. Like, but it's like, Battlefront wasn't that bad, and like the Jedi games are fucking great. So it's like, you're shitting on EA, but like they're not doing what Ubisoft are doing at least. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
a lot of people were giving EA shit, like it's like they had an exclusivity for Star Wars for like 10 years or something. It's like they say they barely used it, but in hindsight, at least they put out a couple of good games. They're not just like jumping straight in to start ripping off Star Wars fans and putting out a bullshit game that belongs on the PS3.
Right. Exactly.
Shocking, dude.
It's really
Shocking.
shocking.
Shocking. Do you have anything else to talk about?
Nothing in particular. It seems like a very, very short. I mean, it's mostly announcements this week,
Yeah.
from what I understand. Like we didn't really have too many things to talk about. Did you happen to check out Suicide Squad Isekai?
No, I haven't. I haven't. I'm gonna actually take note. I'm writing it down. I'm
Now
literally writing it down.
we'll see if it's your cup of tea.
Yeah.
I'd be interested if you actually liked it.
Yeah, I saw like a snippet of like an announcement trailer like a couple of like months ago, and I remember thinking like that looks fucking cool because it's
Yeah.
like Japanese anime style, like of like Joker and Harley and stuff like that. It looks really cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm down. I'm 100% gonna try it. I've been slow on Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't know why, but I was going through a really good like kind of flow. I think I watched like maybe 18 episodes of it or something, and then
Yeah.
I kind of just slowed down and just started watching other stuff. So maybe I'll try and get back into it. And I still can't get the dub for Demon Slayer. Did I tell you what happened to Demon Slayer? So I got a
Uh,
I got a copy. I
right.
caved. I caved, and I was like, I'm gonna watch the sub, and I got a copy of it, and it played on my laptop fine, and I put it onto my local like NES drive,
Hmm.
and then it wouldn't play on my TV, and I was like, this is a sign. I was like, stop the presses. This is a sign. I'm like, I'm waiting for the dub, bro. I'm waiting. So I haven't looked actually for a while, but I will get my hands on a dub and watch it. But I'm very excited to watch it.
Yeah, I'm
When's
just
the
kind of
when's the next one coming out? Because I saw like a poster for the new one. Then like the next one, the castle one.
Well, that's not for a good while, I would
I was
say. Like,
yeah, I was hoping so because I was like, shit, if that one comes out, I was like, I'm way behind. So,
yeah,
but I saw a poster come out. I don't know if it was official or if someone made it, but like it looked official. It looked really cool.
yeah, no, the Infinity Castle arc, yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I wouldn't look too much more into it because I would say it might give a little bit of a spoiler of,
I don't.
you
Yeah,
know,
no, definitely
what's
won't.
to
But
come.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
I wasn't looking for it. It just kind of popped up in my Twitter feed, but I don't see spoilers for that show. Thank God.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I would highly recommend checking out uh the Hashira training arc. I think some people, I swear, everyone has like a short attention span nowadays. Like some people were even upset about the training arc. They were like, "It's too short. There's nothing that goes on really." Like, and it's like, dude, do you not realize that this is an introspective to like all the characters?
mm,
Like you get to. Like, I'm not trying to spoil anything for you. I'm just it's you just every single arc that you go through, you learn a little bit about each pillar, right?
yeah,
So when you're training with them, what are you going to do? You're going to learn about them.
yeah. That was like was it the entertainment arc when you learned about I forget his name, but the dude with the three wives and all.
Yeah,
But he's a legend. Like like I was thinking
it's
like,
so
oh this.
good.
I was like, this dude, like, because when you first see him in the show, you're kind of like, oh, this dude's a bit goofy. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this guy. But then when you actually like get to know him, you're like, oh my god, he's amazing. Like, he's amazing. He's a legend.
It's like one of the
Um,
coolest fucking
yeah,
pillars you'll ever meet.
exactly. But like when you get that first impression of him, you're kind of just like, I don't know, I don't know about this guy. So I think like you need to learn about the pillars. Like, you need to know who they are and so on.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
I'm not gonna be angry at that.
Good.
Yeah, no, I won't. I think we'll end it there for the week.
Okay.
Yeah, like again, we'll probably talk during the week, but I don't know what the next episode's going to be about. We might just kind of go with the flow and see what happens. But I'll figure something out to kind of put a kind of main focus on the episode, just for titles and thumbnails and all that sort of YouTube
Mhm.
crap. But yeah, we'll kind of just go with the flow and see what happens. And obviously, keep your ear to the ground if you hear any announcements or rumors or anything like that we can kind of go through as well. I'm sure I'll have a few bits of juicy goss from the
Oh, of
scoopers and
course.
leakers and stuff like that, so we can kind of during the dry spells, the leakers keep us alive. So, guys, thank you so much if you're watching us, if you're listening to us. Drop a like on the video, all that sort of good stuff. Leave a comment and subscribe and all that beautiful stuff. We've had I think 10 new subscribers in the last 28 days, which is, again, I know we're a small
Hey.
channel, but it's growing. It's growing slowly, which is great. I clipped out our Deadpool review from the last podcast episode and put it up as a separate video, and it did quite
Mhm.
well. So, I might start doing that a little bit more as well, just to get some more kind of content coming out on the channel, like during the week when we're not live. So, yeah, it's the YouTube game is tough, but here we are. Anyway,
Yeah. Well, and we really do appreciate your time, like being here,
yeah,
and any sort of feedback that you give us would be great as well. Like we always want to know if there's anything else that you'd like to talk about.
yeah,
We're pretty open with what we can discuss. No politics, no politics.
yeah,
I'm
no,
putting that
yeah,
down.
definitely not. No, I don't like talking about politics. Um, but yeah, look, good news, bad news, anything, negative comments, whatever you want, leave it all below. I'm happy to always continue on a conversation that we have here live in the comments below. So, yeah, 100%. I'm in those comments all the time. So leave them.
Mhm.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Talk to you in the next one.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.